If you're feeling like a lump on a log, or meaner than a junkyard dog, you've got questions, well I do too. Come on and join the solution revolution. There's answers for me and you. Yeah, there's answers that we can use. Come on and join the solution revolution.
Hey, welcome back everybody to another segment of Mender Online, brought to you via YouTube. My name is Leo Battenhausen, and I'm a psychotherapist and an author, and I'm glad to have you here. We are the Solution Revolution. Thank you for tuning in. I want to talk today about medical marijuana or legalized marijuana. And I have an interesting find, Washington Post, I'd like to open this segment with, about some startling statistics about legal marijuana. So let me read this for you and then we'll talk. In the 17 states with a medical marijuana law in place by 2013, prescriptions for painkillers and other classes of drugs fell sharply. In medical marijuana states, the average doctor prescribed 265 fewer doses of antidepressants each year, 486 fewer doses of seizure medication, 541 fewer anti-nausea doses, and 562 fewer doses of anti-anxiety medication, and 1,826 fewer doses of painkillers in a given year. That's from the Washington Post. Those statistics are very startling and certainly do give a lot of reason to legalize marijuana. And it only seems normal to me and natural to me that this could be a very big solution to a lot of people's problems, as opposed to, taking pills, which we are doing in ridiculous numbers today and way over the top for every little thing that hurts or bothers us. Now, I'm not a marijuana smoker. My youth is a different story, but currently, no, I don't. And I do see a lot of marijuana users in my day-to-day practice. And I don't see a problem with the smoking of pot other than the fact that it's illegal. And the methods and means by how it gets here to this country are very dangerous and potentially cause murders and deaths and harm to many people. But it also supports the drug enforcement agencies' salaries. And, the government has their hand in making money off of illegalizing, marijuana. Now, there's plenty of drugs that should be illegal and are illegal. But to me, it just seems that marijuana shouldn't be on that list. And I guess we're seeing that more and more as time goes on, with some states, taking on the medical marijuana law as given. And I don't think we're seeing a lot of problems with this as much as we're seeing solutions, at least not according to this report in the Washington Post. Of course, this is just one report, and I'm sure there are some problems with pot use. But it seems to me, and it seems to me in my personal life with people I see in practice, that pot can be a very helpful assistant to many things that ail people emotionally. I can speak to some point of how it affects how it benefits people with physical ailments. I have had clients who have terrible appetites, and marijuana has helped them with gaining an appetite. They used to call those the munchies when I was younger. But it does help with that. There is a pill form called Marinol that some doctors prescribe for appetite specifically, but it's not as effective from what I hear as the smokable marijuana. And some clients I've seen that they would have never gotten through college had it not been for pot smoking. That helped them concentrate. It helped them feel social. It helped them feel confident. And, this stuff is natural. And to me, you're going to weigh out a prescription pill versus smoking marijuana. Of course, the smoking part of it can be a health hazard, but who knows what taking pills does in the long run to our livers and kidneys. So there's drawbacks on both sides. But another thing I noticed, the people who smoke marijuana and that's their only primary drug of choice, these are the most peaceful people I've ever met. I rarely see anybody tendency for violence when they're getting high, but a lot of these people don't actually get high when it's benefiting them in some emotional way. It helps with depression, it helps with stress, it helps with anxiety, it helps with social phobias, helps with appetite, it helps with pain. The list goes on and on. And, we have to look at the other side of this because alcohol is legal. And in my opinion, and I think anybody would agree, alcohol is a much more destructive substance than pot will ever be. Nobody goes out and smokes pot and has these horrible DUIs. Now, I'm not suggesting people smoke and drive. It's not safe, of course. But it doesn't happen as often. And also, people don't go home stoned and beat their wives or beat their children. It just doesn't happen. Well, I should say it doesn't happen nearly as much as it does with people who are abusing alcohol. And the loss of jobs and the medical drawbacks from alcohol are much higher than any marijuana side effects that we know. Drinking affects the liver, it affects the blood pressure, it affects the circulation, it affects the brain. It does all of these things, and it's legal. How does that work? So these states that are legalizing marijuana are also seeing a very huge return in income. For tax purposes. It just makes sense. God knows most states are in some kind of dire need of funding, and our taxes are way too high as it is. Legalization of this stuff could certainly lower our income tax and our property taxes a lot if we're brave enough to put that in there and enforce this thing and make it into a law. It just does seem like a lot of states are going in that direction, and for good reason. At least in the psychological world, I see it. I can't really speak to the economics of it, but I could only guess that it would make a big difference in state income. Usually where you have the lower property taxes are in states where industry is very high, because they cover most of the taxes for the state, and where you have little industry, you see the homeowners have the higher tax bracket. So bringing marijuana in and taxing it like they tax cigarettes and alcohol could certainly make a big difference. So you have that aspect of it, and then you have the aspect of using this stuff instead of prescription pills, which I said earlier we are using in ridiculous numbers today, and running to the doctor for every other thing that hurts us, or every other little psychological symptom that we have, and we're taking these magical pills that really don't solve the problem. They only, they just take away some of the symptoms, but the real deep down issue is still there. Where I don't think this is the case as much as with smoking the pot. But that's my opinion. Of course, if we're needing a substance for anything emotional, there usually is something underneath all of that, and that's what therapy is about. But I do see, sometimes medications are essential and they do work very well. But I also see that same situation going on with the use of marijuana for some people, and most of them are very responsible with it. The problem is it's illegal in most states, but I think we're coming to some kind of closure about that, and it's moving forward. But we have to see what our government does, because they are making money off of keeping it illegal, wherein we could be making money, have we make it legal and regulate it. and just like with alcohol, which of course is much more destructive, you have certain restrictions. You have to be a certain age, and you can only buy it at certain times and in certain places. So that's my 2 cents on marijuana use. I'm not condoning it until it's legal, but in the states where it is legal, good for them. I'm glad that it's working out. And I'd like to hear from you, any opinions on this. Please feel free to email me at mindmenderonline.com. Go to the website and you can certainly be in contact with me, mindmenderonline.com. This is the Solution Revolution, and my name is Leo Battenhausen, and I'm glad you tuned in today. If you like this page and this YouTube channel, please subscribe at the bottom of the screen. Just click that button and you will be informed of any new segments that come up via your email, so you can take a look again. All right, please be in touch. Thanks. Have a great day.